Hey there everybody, it's bike maintenance day today in the desert, and I thought I would share with you guys with this really interesting product, which I thought was kind of dumb at first, if I was being honest, but the more I used it, especially with e-bike, I truly came to appreciate it. So let's check it out. The product in question is this thing, and this is the handlebar jack. And how it works is you pull it apart, you attach this part to your handlebar, deploy the legs, and this allows you to work on your bike upside down. And I know what you're thinking, hey Russ, why do I need a special jack to do this? Can I do that without this? Yes, you can probably on most bikes, but if you've ever worked on an e-bike, you know that many of them, one, can't backpedal, so you have to turn them upside down. And number two, many of them have some kind of control deck to control the motor. And when you turn them upside down, you have the heavy weight of the e-bike resting on top of it, and that is no good. A third reason is, some of you may have really fancy bikes with electronic shifting, hydraulic levers, and the cost to repair those or replace them is often in the hundreds of dollars. So something like this I think makes sense and definitely has a place in the market. I'm gonna do some chain maintenance on Laura's electric gravel bike. I'll show you guys how it works. To attach these, it's really simple. You simply find the place where you want to put it on the handlebar, thread the Velcro strap through itself, and tighten her down and deploy these little legs. Pro tip, if you want the most out of this, make it most stable, you want to put it on the widest part of the handlebar. Do that to this side. And there you go. When I talked about the e-bike control and how it could be problematic when you turn it upside down, hopefully you can see what I'm talking about on this one. This bike has a Bosch motor and a Bosch computer, and usually this would be straight out a little bit more even with the bike, but as you can see, we've got a handlebar bag, so I've actually had to rotate it upwards to make room for the bag. This is kind of the best case scenario where something like the handlebar jacks just make perfect sense. If I were to turn this upside down without the jacks, all the weight would be on the computer, and that's kind of not ideal with an e-bike. Okay, so today I'm going to apply some Silica wax drip lube onto Laura's bike. And if you've never used an e-bike, then you might not be aware of this, but on, let's say, a typical analog bike, you would drop the lube and then backpedal. But if you notice here, I backpedal and nothing is happening. So for many e-bikes, in order to rotate the chain when you're doing any kind of maintenance, you have to lift up the rear wheel and pedal. And this is fine, but it is cumbersome. I think this bike, it's on the lighter side of e-bikes, weighs in at around 40 pounds, even though it is carbon fiber. So just imagine doing like one arm lifts all day, just trying to make a simple derailleur adjustment or just putting wax on your chain. This is where the handlebar jacks come in, because you can flip it upside down, get full access to the bike, rotate it forward without having to constantly lift it up. Let's see the best way to do this. I'm gonna flip it this way. Oh, go like so. Straighten out that jack. I'm switching to the GoPro for a hot second just so I can better show you what the handlebar jack is doing. So the bike is upside down, and you can see it is fully supporting the bike. The bike is very stable. Both sides over here. And you can see plenty of room for the computer. No way is the computer gonna get damaged. Plenty of room for the drifter. So again, you protect the drifter, and especially if you have an e-bike with a computer, this is actually an extreme case, because as you can, if you remember, the computer is like kind of pointing straight up. Handlebar jack keeps it nice and protected. And you can see fairly stable. I would say more stable than if it were just on the drifter itself. So there you go. Again, if I were to backpedal, nothing happens, so you do have to pedal forwards. Let's get to the highest gear. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my chain waxing experience on the road in a different video, but just to give you guys a teaser of what it's like to maintain it. It's mostly not a big deal. So Laura's, it's actually fairly clean. I'm just going to wipe off any excess dirt. Whoops. Give it a little bit of a shake. Much easier to do on the other side of the bike. And just one drop per link. So maintenance like this, definitely something you could do without the handlebar jack. But I think it just makes life so much easier, especially if you're on the road, don't have access to a bike stand, and want to keep your bikes, relatively well maintained. So let's give this a little bit of a spin, 20 or 30 times. Again, you could do this with the bike right side up, maybe have a friend lift up the rear end, or do it yourself. But you can see how effortless it is with the handlebar jack. So again, just to show the stability, pretty stable e-bike, heavy e-bike, definitely not something you want kind of toppling over. You will most likely bend your derailleur hanger if it goes this way, and just not a good thing to do in general with any bike. So let's flip it over. Okay. All right, I can sense some thumbnail magic here. So let's talk a little bit more about these things. Build quality is fair. They are plastic. There are a few metal bits, namely the hinges. There are these magnets that kind of help everything snap together. So I think the design is good. I feel like the construction could be better, but for the price point, it's acceptable. I think you'll definitely get a fair amount of use out of this before you break it. So if you look at how this is constructed, this is a spacer here. This is their kind of extension kit. The stock handlebar jack is a little bit, isn't as tall, and I would definitely recommend ordering the spacer kit. There's actually, I think, no reason to not use it. It's not saving you a ton of weight, and it's adding a lot of utility so you can use it with almost any bike and not have a problem. In my opinion, they should probably just do without the spacer kit and just make it this tall. I like the magnets. I like how it kind of snaps together. That's fairly clever. You could probably certainly make something similar to this that doesn't fold. It takes away this complexity, but then again, it probably wouldn't be as nice and svelte. Overall, a pretty useful product. And if you have an e-bike and don't have a stand that can support its weight, or maybe you're traveling like us and can't bring a bike stand with you, then this is a great kind of mini stopgap solution. And I want to give a shout out to Shifter, who actually turned me on to this product. I was watching one of his product wrap-ups, and I saw this. He kind of went through it really quickly, but the second I saw it, I just knew the specific use where it would come in handy for us. Great with analog bikes, but I feel like it's more useful with a heavy e-bike where you're trying to protect the control computer. But that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is this cool? Is this nerdy? Is this, hot garbage? What do you think? If you're interested in ordering one, I'm going to put a link in the description below. Again, I was not paid by Handlebar Jack to make this video. They did send this for free. I actually think it's a cool product. If you appreciate videos like this, definitely subscribe, or consider supporting the channel by joining us on Patreon, buying some stem caps and stickers, all that good stuff. And as always, keep the supple side down.